Dear students, today we are going to study a new story, B. Wordsworth, written by V.S. Naipaul. Now we can move to the plot development of the story. In the beginning, a strange man's visit to the boy, the protagonist, Sani's house. Man calls himself a poet. Friendship between the poet and the boy. Moving to the middle of the story, the boy taken by the poet to his house, eat mangoes and enjoying the premises of B. Wordsworth, a love story told by the poet. End part of the story, the poet seems to grow older. Before his death, tells the boy that whatever he has told him about poetry or love story is not true. Boy is shocked, find the poet's house never after a year. Before going to the summary of the story, I would like to remind you the importance of reading the story from the textbook. The story, Wordsworth, plots follows a unique friendship between two individuals, a self-proclaimed poet and a young boy. The poet mostly includes meeting between the friends, comprising the long walks they take around their city and the random conversations they have about life, nature, and the poet's many stories. Through the course of the plot, the most beautiful relationship unreveals between a child and an adult, where the man teaches the child all about the beauties of life and nature, and the child allows the man a space where he can be any version of himself he desires. Most of the plot is just conversations between these two friends through which we discover about B. Wordsworth's life and his identity crisis. The boy is a medium through which the ambiguous character of B. Wordsworth unfolds itself to the readers. In this B. Wordsworth short story, we will briefly discuss the plot line of the story. One day, a tidily dressed man named B. Wordsworth shows up at the young narrator's house wanting to look at the bees in his yard. He claims to be a greatest poet in the world and informs the boy that B in his name stood for black and that he was William Wordsworth's brother. He tries to tell a poem to the boy, but he is chased away by his mother. A week later, the boy and the poet meet again, and they go to his house at Alberto Street to eat mangoes. The boy is beaten up by his mother for roaming around on his own. Crying, he leaves his house and returns back to B. Wordsworth's house, who takes him for a walk and makes him gaze at the stars to pacify him. The young boy and the poet soon become friends and they start going for long walks all around the city. One day, the boy asks him why he kept his yard wild and unattended. In response, B. Wordsworth told him a story about a poet couple who fell in love and got married. The couple were waiting for their child, who was never born, for the woman died with the child inside her. The man then vowed never to touch his late wife's garden again and let it grow wild. Another day, B. Wordsworth tells the boy that he is writing the greatest poem of all time, which will take 22 years to complete, for he only wrote one line every month, with the essence of that whole month distilled into that line. The friendship between the poet and the boy keeps deepening with the time, and they continue to go on their walks together. One day, when the boy visits the poet in his house, he sees him lying on his bed, frail and weak, almost close to his death. The poet then tells the boy a funny story which entailed that his story about the poet couple was a made up one, and that everything he had ever told him about his poetry and the greatest poem in the world were all made up. Shaken up, the boy goes home crying. After a year, when he again visits Alberto Street looking for B. Wordsworth's house, he finds that the house and the yard had been replaced by a two-storied building with bricks and concrete everywhere. It was almost as if B. Wordsworth had never existed. Now let us revise the story again. Again, reminding you the importance of reading the story from the textbook. Thank you.